early. I've moved down to the basement. There's people awake upstairs. But I'm going to continue. I'm up. We're going to get back to the reading. I want to go home. For those of you who are following. We are on page 39. Nope, excuse me, 38. We're going to just pick up there. Try to get through a couple sections, all right? Just woke up, so I got to get back into all these characters. Let's see. Here we go.
I think he took it rather well, said Rudy.
Castling his king into safety.
After all, it's not every day a clone is presented with a box of high-grade dirt.
Mike pushed his king's rook pawn. He's not such a bad guy, you know?
Agreed, said Rudy. He just happens to be in the wrong place. In my way. I'm afraid he'll have to take his lumps as I dish him out.
The two exchanged queens. Maybe suggested Mike timidly. We could just get kicked out instead of running away, you know? Be real bad and stuff. If enough counselors complain, the warden will pack us off home.
Said Rudy scornfully. They'd never toss us out of here. To them, we're money in the bank. Haven't you noticed? With our clone, no matter what I do, he comes up smiling. We could no more get kicked out of here than you could win this game.
I'm not losing. Mike moved his knight defensively.
Yes, you are.
Rudy slashed in with a bishop.
Checkmate.
And that's the end of that section. A little chess game between the two. We're going to go on one more.
All right, you guys, bellowed Chip. I'm going to a counselor's meeting. You get yourselves to bed on the double.
And he walked out of the cabin, the sellotape tucked neatly under his arm. Obediently, the boys began to change into their pajamas for the night. Is that how you spell pajamas? Pyjamas? Pajamas? Really? Wait. Aside, that was me, not the book. For the night. Aside from a few flying articles of clothing, all was quite peaceful. What's going to happen? Whispered Mike.
We'll soon find out,
said Rudy.
Look, there he goes.
It was really loud.
Look, there he goes.
Harold Green placed his hands on the bedpost and vaulted to the upper bunk. Crash! Remember? The unsupported mattress gave way and dropped straight down onto an unsuspecting Adam Willis, who had been making himself comfortable below. Screamed Harold, who had tumbled down with it. Muffled shouting came from under him. The other boys began rushing to the rescue. Rudy ripped the sheets off the nearest bed and hurled them into the midst of the confusion. Mike, instantly grasping the spirit of the thing, began racing around the cabin, tossing pillows at random into the milling group. Boys began throwing them back. "Rumble!" shouted a deafening voice. It was Rumble. Mike stared in open-mouthed amazement. The shout had come from Rudy Miller. Rudy, who never raised his voice and never involved himself in anything. That same Rudy grabbed him, and the two shot out the door. "Where are we going?"
The brawl isn't big enough, Rudy explained calmly. We're going for reinforcements.
His eyes gleamed, although his face did not change expression.
And when it's all over, we can blame it on Harold Green.
Mike doubled over, remembering. Did you see him fall? I thought he was going to choke. Rudy walked up to cabin 12, opened the door, and leaned inside.
Pardon me,
he said politely.
There's a pillow fight in cabin 13. If you'd like to take part. You're quite welcome.
Leaving the door open, he stepped aside, pushing Mike with him. A stream of pajama, really, Pyjama, pajama-clad boys roared out the door, waving pillows and stampeding toward cabin 13.
Enthusiastic, aren't they?
Commented Rudy. The door of cabin 11 burst open and a voice called, "What's going on?" "Big pillow fight in 13, hollered one of the boys from cabin 12. "Come on, it's gonna be a Lulu." Rudy and Mike stepped out of the way just in time to avoid the onrush from cabin 11. "Rudy," said Mike nervously, "what are we gonna do?"
Do,
said Rudy.
we're gonna sit down right here on the grass and watch.
Cabin 13 appeared to bulge at the seams, to bounce and gyrate. Feathers from torn pillows fluttered through the open door and windows. Joyous shouts of combat came from within. The only discordant note to what seemed a grand party was the half-crazed voice of Adam Willis, which pierced the night air. "All right, Green, now you're gonna die." Mike noticed a gleam in Rudy's eye. Even as they watched, the doors of cabin 14 burst open, and another dozen boys rushed to join the fray, brandishing pillows. They were lost in the swirling clouds of feathers. "Wow, look at that!" exclaimed Mike, half in horror. Rudy nodded.
"Camp,"
he said with an elaborate sweep of his arm.
"Good, clean, wholesome fun. I wonder if they keep extra pillows in stock."
And that's the end of that section. We're not, geez, this chapter is really long, and I feel like that's enough. But we're coming up. We're going to try to get through chapter 4 today. Thank you very much for joining me. And then we're going to wrap it up that. Okay.